Okay, let's try this one more time. Everybody, welcome to All Terrain Outlaws Live, where we don't normally have this many tech issues. If this was a car, it'd be fixed by now. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Sorry, everybody, so much. I mean, seriously, for the technical difficulties, I know it's very hard to try and watch a live stream when it doesn't actually stream, and it keeps killing our video off, and I really don't know why. Hopefully, Marty will be on here soon and be able to join us. Please make sure you share out the video. Invite people to join All Terrain Outlaws. It's just time to crack cold one, man. Just trying to crack cold one. Here we go again, man. I'm telling you, this has been a rough start. You know, we had the post-holiday. I know you guys are excited to see us. And we're talking about the news. We're talking about dead car brands. And it should be a fun night if we can get things rolling and off the ground. Hopefully that will happen soon. Okay. I don't know what that means. I'm trying to add Marty in here, guys. Is adding. Here we go. Let's try one more time. One more time. Oh my gosh, I can see Marty. Maybe.
Oh my dude.
Uh, well,
I have no idea.
Hey,
no idea.
If this was a car, it would have been fixed 20 minutes ago. Everything would have been fine. But no, of course not.
If this was a car, it'd be a dead car brand.
It'd be a dead car brand. That's for sure. Especially if it had that many issues starting off. So please share. This is the video. If you shared the last video, that one doesn't count. Share this video.
Yeah. Come back to this one. Oh my gosh.
That was a rough start. That was a rough start.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what happened. I mean, I went to go start it, and then it paused, and it wouldn't say anything. Like it would pop stuff up, but nothing would happen. And then I went to go close out. I went to go close out, and it just kept going. I'm like, this isn't correct.
Yeah, no, I don't know what was going on. I tried to click on your video. There was no sound going on. And then I started things going. Things were going. And then all of a sudden it just like shut us off. So here we are.
Well, I went to go join you, and I sent the join request. And then it says, do you want to share it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, share it. And then it goes, okay, cool, bye. So, yeah. Man. Anyway, talking about dead car brands.
Dead car brands. I had started to, and this was the old video, so I'd started to get into the news a little bit, but yeah, wherever you want to start off, man, because we are just a big old mess.
We've got a bunch of car brands. Okay, here's one. If you had a car brand that you wanted to bring back, just one, what would it be?
Eagle. All day long. I'd bring back Eagle. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Eagle, in my opinion, is positioned. They're in the right spot. Like, if you were able to obtain the rights to Eagle, you're in the right spot in between Chrysler and Mitsubishi, where you'd start to be able to pull technology and platforms from both of the different brands, especially now that Mitsubishi is combined with Nissan and Renault. You'd be able to pull from all these different brands, and I think it could come up with some pretty awesome and amazing cars. I really, really do. Also, now that that's a spoiler. Well, not a spoiler anymore. Now that the Fiat 500 is no longer available in the U.S. starting next year, I mean, bringing back the what was the Dodge Colt, Mitsubishi Summit, their little Mirage 3-door hatchback. Boom, got one. I don't have to do nothing. But yeah, definitely for me it would be Eagle. What would be yours? I was very curious as to what yours was going to be.
Well, it's kind of along the lines of Eagle. AMC.
AMC. Well, and fun fact, Eagle is because AMC.
Yes. So that's what I would bring back because, I mean, they were kind of the redheaded stepchild of the big three.
They weren't.
and
Yeah.
they were really more along the lines of what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of, you had the big three, and then Eagle was just not supposed to be there, and then
Yeah.
AMC was like, "Hey, we're still here," and I mean, the only reason why they closed down is because they couldn't keep up with the big three anymore because
Yeah.
they were pretty much on their own.
Right. Right. Sorry, my setup here is all kinds of off because we had all kinds of things. Yeah, no, AMC definitely. AMC had a lot of really cool cars. In particularly the Eagle was the cool, which is how you
Yeah.
ended up with Eagle because Chrysler bought it. Just quick little history for you guys. The Eagle was a really cool. I mean, that was the crossover SUV before crossover SUVs existed. The
Mm-hmm.
Javelin was awesome muscle car. They had a couple really cool muscle cars that were
Yeah,
just
they really did.
ridiculously powerful. Yeah,
And they
AMC was a cool brand.
a bunch of them, like you would have not expected them to do this, but they just went and threw their parts bin and went, let's throw a bunch of this stuff into that car.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, they were that car brand that wasn't supposed to be, but they were doing
Right,
it.
right. Oh, good. All our viewers are back. Thank you guys so much for joining us back again.
We're
I know
sorry,
that must
guys.
have been rough. Yes, we're very sorry. It's not our fault. It's totally on Facebook. But please make sure you share this video, please, because this is
I
the
don't
one to
know if
share.
I don't know if you're getting comments, but I'm not seeing anything. So
Well, the only comment we've gotten so far on this video, because the other video, tons of comments.
yeah,
Uh, I don't. I'm
nothing's
just
popping.
joking. Andrew. Yeah. Did you swipe this way and that way? Oh, great. Now Marty's gone. Now I got black
What I do now?
screen Marty.
Jesus,
I don't know. I don't know,
I don't
man.
know.
But Andrew agrees with you. AMC is the brand to bring back. Yeah, AMC would be a cool brand. Um,
What here's one for you. If you were to be able to bring back AMC, what brand would you kill off to be able to do it?
oh, if I could kill off any brand I wanted to,
Yeah,
I could just pick one and just be like, and you're dead.
yeah.
Mm.
It's
Oh,
it's
so
in
tempting.
replacement of AMC. So you get AMC back, AMC Ego back, and you kill off this brand.
What's up, Bradley? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and a share. I would give me a pinwheel of GM brands and spin it. Any one of those is fine.
But
No,
the
Buick.
the thing
I'd
about
kill off Buick. Get rid of Buick.
the
Buick's
thing about
stupid.
the thing about the GM brands is there's so many duplicate brands.
Right,
Like GM, like Chevy and GMC. You don't really
right.
need both of them. You can have
You
one of them.
you can have one. Right. You don't need both. You can have one.
And like you said with Buick, Buick is basically a smaller, kind of not as luxury version of Cadillac.
Right, right. You don't
So
need both.
yeah, so I don't. That's kind of the reason why Ford got rid of Mercury, because you don't need both Ford and Mercury because they're the same vehicles.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
That's
mean,
that's what got a lot of these brands in trouble, and what killed off a lot of these brands is copycat cars. And then you also have corporate decisions that, in my opinion, weren't very good ones. For
well,
instance,
again, because as we both said, corporate doesn't listen to the customer. They just say this is what the customer wants,
hmm
and they don't pay attention to anything.
right, and then like someone makes a good car, and that car sells a lot, and so then
Right.
everybody makes a car in that market to compete with that one car that's selling good, which is why we have a flooded SUV market, because someone made a
Right.
good SUV, someone made a cool crossover, and so now
Yeah.
all these brands are rushing in and making all because they're trying to steal that profit, and
Mhm.
it's nuts. Don't kill off Fiat. Fiat's awesome. I love Fiat. Don't kill them off. Just don't do it, please. I've already lost my 500. I'm never gonna get the new 500. Okay.
Are there? I heard that they're getting ready to. You said they're going to kill off the 500 for the U.S. market.
Yeah, that was one of the big news topics I wanted to get to later on in the video. But yeah, they're killing off the 500 for the U.S. market. The
Why?
European market is getting more special editions and more cool concept cars than you could imagine. Because honestly, like a lot of people, I started to talk about this before our video died. A lot of people want to say that it's, the Fiat's fault or whatever. It's the move towards crossovers and SUVs. For whatever reason, the market right now, regardless of our opinion on what it is that corporates do,
Right.
the market right now is all about the crossover, all about the SUV, all of it. They so basically small cars like the Fiat 500, the Mini Cooper, the Chevy Spark, the Ford Fiesta, they're declining in sales big time. And other than the Mini Cooper, all the small cars are getting killed off. You
Right.
might see the Mitsubishi Mirage stick around just because it's the only super cheap car available on the market right now. Other than that, they're
Yeah.
gone. The
And
micro cars are gone.
that's what's the saving grace for a lot of these cars is they're cheap. So people
Right.
can buy a new car, say they bought a new car, because it's still cheap, and they don't have to worry about spending, at the cheapest $25,000 for a brand new vehicle.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, as long as we're on the topic, I don't understand why. I don't get it. I don't get why y'all hate on the little cars, man. Little cars are awesome. They're super fun. They're a lot more versatile than you think. You don't need a huge car to haul a lot of stuff. Fold the seats down. I got more cargo space in that thing than a lot of you people would even realize. I could probably haul 8 to 10 tires in that thing. No problem.
for go-karts.
No, for the Fiat. Hey,
But
those are
no,
17 inchers.
if they're okay, so since we're talking about bringing car brands back and killing them off, what's one car brand that you would love to just kill off?
I mean, Bradley here was commenting to keep Buick because of the Grand National, but they don't
But
make
they
the Grand
brought it back.
National anymore, and they haven't brought it back, and that's not going to happen. They're just going to keep making Chinese cars and importing into the United States.
Okay, here, let me do it this way then. If
Okay.
if you were going to bring a car company back, okay, let me try this one.
We're going to get there. Hang on.
No, okay. So what I was thinking is make a car brand of all of like GM's all of GM's performance cars and just make that one car brand. Like you put the Firebird and you put the Grand National and you put like the Chevy SS, all of those as one car brand. And then you just take all the boring stuff and leave it as Chevy. I mean, would that work? Yeah, I mean,
I think so. Honestly, I was really curious as to why Chevy didn't do that. I mean, I guess the Corvette would have to remain a Chevy, but for like the Camaro and all the other ones, I really think instead of doing Buick, they should have done Pontiac. They should have kept Pontiac around, and they could have just had all their Pontiac could have been strictly their performance brand, other than the Corvette, which would have remained a Chevy. So okay, you wouldn't have the Camaro, but you would still have the Trans Am, right? And Firebirds and all that stuff, and you could still stay like it's the Camaro and just put the stupid Pontiac badge on it.
I wonder if they could have done it. I wonder if they could have done it to where along the lines of their performance division. Make an actual name for their performance division, and then put all of those performance cars under that performance division. Kind of like SRT tried to make its own performance division,
right?
And all the performance cars were sold strictly out of SRT.
Right.
I mean that could have worked. That could work, and then you could have all of your cars that have been killed off that were fun that people liked, and have all those performance cars as an offshoot of the Chevy. So you could have like your Pontiac G8 and your Pontiac Firebird, and then like your Buick Grand National, but they're all under one performance name, like like they had Street Legal Performance for a while. So you could have Street Legal Performance Grand National.
Right.
Or your SLP Grand National or your SLP Firebird. It doesn't have to be a Pontiac or a Camaro or whatever. It can just be that kind of an offshoot of GM, and just have it just some random performance company, and then just
Oh yeah. Oh
cars.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I think there was definitely a better way to do it, and they went for a few minutes there. It seemed like GM was going to fix their ways and do things a little bit differently, but instead they immediately like did a few things, and they're like, oh no, we'll just make copy cars again, and that's what you get with Buick and with Chevy and GM and all that stuff.
Right,
Um,
right.
but there's so many brands that got killed off because of those kind of mistakes. One in particular that I wanted to talk about was Saab. You know,
Mm.
a lot of people out there just overlook Saab. Saab's this boring, super safe car to drive around, which they are. They are very, very safe to drive around. If you ever seen one get crashed, they're solid tank type cars. Um, but but Saab got killed off because they refused to listen to GM, which is one of the things that when I found out, I was like, actually, I now like Saab because uh, this is what GM was like. Okay, we're in crisis mode. Somebody go over to Saab and find out why Saab costs so much money. And they go over to Saab, and Saab's, they're ripping the cars apart. They're reinforcing the chassis. They're rebuilding the engines. They're putting their own computer systems. They're putting in their own navigation systems. They're making all their own stuff. And GM's like,
Right.
no, just do the body and the badges. And Saab's
Yeah.
like, no,
No.
we're
That's
not going to
that's
just do the
not our
body and the
car.
badges. Right. Then it
Yeah.
won't be a Saab anyway. Like, and so
Right. Right.
I
And then,
always really respected Saab for doing that, and then the turbo cars that they had were super awesome, and then they had a few crossover cars with Subaru for a few years, which was an odd thing, but you could actually
really.
get what they call
Hmm.
Saabbarus. So there's the 92X, which is literally a WRX with a Saab front end on it, and it's a really weird looking thing, but you're like, hey, WR, wait a minute, and then it's Saab. You're like, huh?
That's
But it
interesting.
is. They did a couple of them. I think they did a Subaru SUV also as a Saab.
I know
Um,
they did Trailblazer as a Saab. I know they had I forgot what it was. It was like the 9.8 or something like that.
yeah,
The the Trailblazer rebadged as a Saab. But and you know what? GM killed off a bunch of brands
so
that
many
could
brands.
that could probably be extremely lucrative today. Like if they still had Hummers,
Oh, dude, especially with the SUV market right now, how it is, and gas prices dropping over here like crazy. Oh, absolutely. Hummer
but they
is one of those things where, like, dude, you guys had something there where you had like this little niche market. You didn't even have to make a lot of Hummers, just a few Hummers, and it would have been awesome. But
well, I mean, I think where they really went bad was H2. If they would have kept the spirit of the actual H1, they'd be fine. They,
yeah,
those would have been
they
fine. But they wanted to do the H2 and the H. I've driven an H2. It's a boat. I
it
mean, it
is.
literally you hit a bump and you're like floating all over everything, and it it was crazy top heavy. It was too boxy. I mean, it wasn't good. But the H1s, they were
The
huge.
H1s were good. From what I understand, the H3 was actually, because they made it smaller, it was actually a little more capable than the H. I don't know. I don't know that for a fact. This is all
I
a
don't know
hearsay
either.
and
But
opinion. I do say though that they man, that the truck version was
yeah,
really cool. Like
yeah.
I actually like
Well,
I would drive one of those.
think about
The
it.
H2 H3 Ts, I would drive one.
It was the original Gladiator.
Come on.
Well, I mean, look at it. It's a
Come
four door,
on.
the mid-size four-door truck. That's not exactly a truck.
I guess, but how capable were those things really off road? Like when it really came down to it?
I couldn't tell you. I've never driven one.
Yeah, I don't know. If you know, comment down below because now's the time to do that. Also, while you're here, make sure to share and give us a big thumbs up.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. What about Saturn though? You know, Saturn was one of these rare companies where they had this they had neat cars and they kind of had an individual kind of styling to them. but then they just weren't quite quality. Like they still had that GM cheapness to them.
I wonder if you could take some of these smaller companies that GM killed off, if you couldn't put them together as their own, GM, Ford, FCA conglomerate. Like if you could put the Pontiac and Saturn and maybe even Hummer as their own like 3-car conglomerate, and throw a couple $1 million at them and see what could happen.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if you could scoop up like Saab, Saturn, Hummer, maybe, dip into the Chrysler brand and pick up Plymouth or something,
Ooh,
you know,
yeah,
cruise. You probably could put together a pretty decent conglomerate. Uh, I don't know how all that would work with the rights and copyright laws and all that kind of stuff. It'd probably be
right.
a lot of gray area and a lot of money. But you would have brand recognition already because they're known
Yeah,
brands. It would be interesting. It would be very
yeah.
interesting.
I mean, like you said, there's people who love Saabs. There's people who still want a Pontiac Firebird, or Pontiac whatever.
Right.
Um, you know, if you were able to scoop that stuff up and then create your own little 3 or 4 brand conglomerate, you might have something. It might take a minute to get your footing, but like you said, dude, you've already got brand recognition. People already know that stuff.
Right.
People have been clamoring for a new Firebird. People have there's small startup companies that are turning millions of dollars in profit just making Camaros into Firebirds.
Right. Yeah,
So I
and
mean,
I got to be honest, those don't even look that good because you can
right?
really, really tell it's like at least back in the day, you knew it was a Camaro, but it was a little more subtle. It's the and I get the guys that they just want that Firebird, they want that Pontiac Firebird.
Yeah,
It's a classic. It's a classic car. Yeah, if you could take Pontiac, remake the Firebird, take Saturn and remake the View and the Ion, which were their big selling
right.
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be able to piece something together out of all that. That would be interesting.
I
That
mean,
would be
it'd be
really interesting to do.
that, but you could always create new. You could always start something new. So with
Right.
the with Saturn, you could always make a whole new Saturn car. You could come out with some stuff, and since you're a small company that you don't have all this big overhead and people telling you what you need to do, you could really experiment and see what people want. Because, like you
Right.
said, somebody made an awesome SUV, so everyone's making SUVs now. But what if somebody was to make an awesome, mid-sized sedan? Well, nobody wants to experiment with it because everyone's buying SUVs right now. So,
Yeah. Right.
do you go
Right.
with the sure thing, or do you experiment with something and possibly lose your ass?
Well, I think what a lot of people like, what a lot of these brands do is they step out on a limb and then go, oh, we can't make that car anymore because it doesn't sell very well. We're just going to stick to making these. But they
Right.
don't. It never seems to me that they like go, okay. For let's take Mitsubishi for example because I'm very good at it. And just real quick, some comments here. Camaro's into the judge as well. Yeah, that's true. And while y'all are here, we got up to 8 here. Just go ahead and like and share our video out. Um,
Definitely. Definitely.
but Mitsubishi, like they're one of this company that went into panic mode. They killed the Eclipse, they killed the Galant, they killed the Evo, they killed off the Lancer. They've just killed everything. They're like, we can't do any of it. Instead of going, okay, you know what? Our SUVs are selling really well. Um, so that'll be like our main brand, right? Those will make those. But there's still that niche market. There's still people who get excited about our brand over the Evo or something, right? So why not go out on a limb and make just a few of them? Make it a rare car. Make it an exclusive car. Something that only 1,000 people are going to get to buy. You know what I mean? Where it's there seems to be this lack of ability to make something and not like have to mass produce it. Like
Well, here's
I'm,
here's
I'm
the deal about that. Here's the deal about that is if they've already changed all of their assembly lines, then they're not going to be able to make that one car because they'd have to retool the whole assembly line to build that one car.
That's true. That's
Unless
true.
they keep one line open to build that car. But these companies are so afraid to, like you said, go out on a limb and try something new that they hamstring themselves because it's like, okay, everyone's buying SUVs. But if you were building a decent sedan, people would be buying that too. You
Right.
know, not everybody wants an SUV. Some people want a decent sedan. Some people want a station wagon. Some people want, you know, a two-door, a small little two-door coupe. But you're afraid,
Right.
and everyone's buying SUVs, so you're putting all of your eggs in the SUV basket, and then you're getting rid of your cars.
Right. And I
I
think another. Go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Finish your.
Oh,
Finish.
I was gonna say, I think it'd be hilarious to see some random millionaire or random billionaire come up and scoop up the rights to all of these like big name cars, like like the Evo or like the Grand National. Just scoop up those names and then start building their own and watch them just crumble the big three.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Well, and I think another thing that really kills out them, like, kind of chokes the market, is that we have this weird thing where, if you want to buy a car, you have to go to a car dealership, right?
Right.
And only certain car dealerships are allowed to be in certain areas, and you can't have too many of in a certain area, and these guys have the rights over here. Like the whole, if you guys ever get a chance to look into car dealerships and how all that stuff works and is played out, it's really, really messed up. Like, it's a messed up system. I
Right.
want to make a car company where you go, you know what? I think I'd really like one of your cars, Rob. You know, you make a new Evo, and I want to see if it's any good. You know, and I can have a guy take it from my factory, bring it to your house. You could test drive it. If you like it, order one. We'll have it shipped to your house, free shipping, no problem. It'll be there in 10 days. So you know
That's
what I mean?
kind of what Tesla's doing.
Is that what Tesla's doing right now? Where you
They're
order a car,
trying.
and it comes to you?
Have you ever noticed that their dealerships are in like downtown locations and they only have one or two cars to where you can test drive the car at that dealership? And what you do is you order your car at the dealership and then they bring it to you.
Huh.
Or
That's interesting.
you go pick it up somewhere. But you don't. It's not like a dealership where you build your car and a couple months later it arrives to the dealership and then you finish everything up.
Right.
Tesla is basically in an old subway, basically in an old subway, and then they basically you drive the car around. You're like, okay, I like this, and then you build a car, and then a couple months later, once they're done with their building the car, it arrives and you pick it up, or they bring
That's
it to your
interesting.
house.
That's interesting. But I just feel like I was perusing the Fiat 500 fan club group, and
Yeah.
there was a guy on there, and he was asking if it was worth to drive to get a Fiat 500 because there's no Fiat dealers where he lives. There's no Chrysler dealers where he lives, and the closest one to him is well over an hour and a half away. And if it needs service, he's got to take it there, and he can't get done what he needs to get done. I would really like to see a car company where you can sell your cars that in that kind of manner, right? Where a car comes to you, you can test drive it, or you go to a location and they just have the three cars, and you don't actually buy those cars, and then you build yours and it comes to you. But
Right.
also a car company where if you want to get it serviced by the experts, right? Like they should be able to. You should be able to call up and be like, hey man, I got this and this going on with my car. And I've seen the different service trucks out there where they have the lifts and all that. They should be able to come out to your house, lift the car, fix it, good to go, blah blah blah, done. Other than that, you really shouldn't need expert advice. Hey, there's a female behind you.
Uh oh.
There's
Camera cat.
Camera
Camera cat.
cat.
Wait. Bye, guys.
We got a light for
Um,
Camera Cat.
well, we don't have to worry about Camera Cat now, so it's gone.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see what kind of things could happen. But like you said, these dealers and these car companies are so set in their ways, and they're so afraid to kind of step out of the norm that they're not going to ever do that. You know what I mean?
There's just too many rules and restrictions on all this stuff as well. Because,
Right.
take Ford, for example. When Ford came out with the Focus RS, right? And it was this 5-cylinder, turbocharged, 350 horsepower beast of a car with some crazy body kit stuff. You get it in crazy lime green. They're making them in Mexico, which is just, 10 minutes south of where you live. And I can't buy one because they don't sell them at the dealerships in the U.S., only in the U.K. Like, what?
Well, here,
What?
how about this? We don't have Renault. We don't have Toyota Hiluxes. We don't have all these random. I see them every day.
Because they're made
Why?
right over the border.
Because they sell them in Mexico, and these guys drive across the border and go hang out and do all stuff every day out here. And you see these Renaults, or you see these Toyota Hiluxes everywhere. Or how about this one? 4-door Chevy Rangers. Not the new ones. The
Chevy
old
Rangers?
Can
I Chevy?
Sorry.
Are we talking?
The 4-door Ford Rangers, the ones that are like 2011s and stuff like that.
Right, the older ones.
Did you ever see one of those at a U.S. dealership?
No. Never.
Because we never got any. We never got one. Or even better, diesel Jeeps.
Yeah.
We never got any of that stuff. I would see.
Dude, there are so many diesel cars that we don't get for whatever restrictive reasons we're not allowed to have them. It's insane.
It's insane the amount of stuff that I see on a daily basis that we don't get. And I mean, it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.
It really is. It really is. And it has a lot to do with, and I'm sorry to rag on these on the environmentalists, but it has a lot to do with the environmentalist stuff. Because they're so restrictive on cars, and they're beating down on cars.
Well, I mean,
and
that's
it's
why
like, dude, okay, jet plane, there's a billion freaking jet planes in the air right now burning jet fuel out of their jet engines into the atmosphere with no catalytic converter, but my car has to have a freaking catalytic converter and an evaporative emissions and a recirculation crap and all that other stuff. I mean, come on, really? My car, dude, and we miss out on diesels because of all that different, whatever the rules and restrictions are on that. Where you've got Volkswagens making 80 miles to the gallon, freaking twin turbo V8 diesel Jaguars in the UK making 70 miles to the gallon.
Yep.
Seriously, we're not allowed to have it because it's bad for the. How is that bad for the environment? Screw you guys. Sorry, rant over.
It'd be interesting, kind of. See what kind of loopholes you could find, and bring some of these cars. Because I mean, that's why you don't see all these Japanese cars that you love, because they've got to be 25 years old or older.
Right.
Or if they do come across, they have to come over as parts. They can't.
Right.
You can't sell an entire Skyline from '99, but you can sell parts of it.
Right.
But you can't put it together, which makes me wonder if you were able to buy the shell of, say, like an R34 and throw it on the body. I mean, throw it on the running gear and everything like that of, say, a Mustang or a Camaro or something like that. I mean, theoretically, it's not an R34.
Right.
So I mean, could you do that? I mean,
you could do that. You could do that. You can import an entire R34 as long as the engine and the transmission aren't in it.
Right.
But you can't put that engine and transmission back into it once you get it. Those are no longer available to you, which is just, I don't know. The rules are dumb, man. They just kill me.
Here's my question. So Nissan is. I don't know if they've done it, but they've been talking about starting to rebuild the RB26s, like start mass producing them again for like
So
aftermarket.
Nissan isn't doing that. There's an aftermarket company that is.
Okay,
You
but
can literally buy a crate RB26.
But my question is it legal here,
Ooh.
or
I
do you
know
have
the
to wait
engine is.
25?
No, the engine you could buy. You could buy the new RB26, the new RB26, right? You can buy that engine, and it's legal here. The engine's legal here. But I think the question really is, if I were to import an R34 without the engine and transmission, because that's illegal, and then
Right.
bought myself a new RB26 and new transmission and put it in there, it's still an R34 with an RB26 in it, right? Right? Like that's still a thing. I don't know. I don't know what the law is there. That's some gray area right there.
That's what
But
I'm saying.
we may have just found a loophole right here exclusively on All Terrain Outlaws to the
Somebody look
importation
into that.
laws.
Somebody
Please do.
GTS.
Yeah,
So I mean,
absolutely. Or
that's
BTS, I'm
the
just saying.
well, no one beings.
I do. I don't like the Google overlords.
Oh no, I GTS. I Google that shit.
But I mean, I guess I'm really not doing much because now I'm under the Microsoft overlords, but they make my Xbox, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay.
But no, like there's so many little hoops to jump through and loopholes, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason. That's where a lot of companies lose their shit because you can't build that car here, but you can sell it all day.
Right.
10 minutes across the border, or in this country over here. That's the reason why the Ranger was gone. Ford was like, oh, well, no one's buying the Ranger, so we're just going to get rid of it. It never left. It was being produced. It was being sold everywhere around the world except for the U.S.
Right. And why you didn't make that, at least available to the because, we still have to, so I can't go to Ford and buy a car, right? I have to go to some jerk-in-the-face Ford dealership, right? Or some, Mickey McWicket's frickin' Kia or something, right? I can't just call them up and be like, hey, guys, so why they don't at least make it viable for me to go to the dealership and go, hey, I still want a Ranger, and they make it, but I can't, and Ford be like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Here, and now it's going to be here in a week. Awesome. But yeah, no, that's when that Focus RS came out, I went to the Ford dealer and I was like, dude, I want to buy a Focus. He's like, oh, yeah, we got a lot full of it. No, I want to buy a Focus RS.
Nope.
And this stupid salesman looks at me and goes, what's that? I'm like, dude, you work for Ford.
You got to remember,
work for Ford.
They only know what they sell.
Right.
He doesn't sell it, so he doesn't know it.
Right. It doesn't care that Ford makes it and doesn't have it available. And I was like, I'll give you a few days. I'll buy it from you at MSRP if you can get one for me. I called him up. He's like, no, I can't get one.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the dumbest thing on the planet. Why can't I just call up Ford and be like, hey, Ford, can I get one of them RSs? And they'll be like, well, yeah, here. It costs $30,000, and I was just like, here's your check, $30,000. Because of course I just have that laying around. But it's just, it's so obnoxious. It's just one of the weirdest things.
It makes you want to. Like I said, I want to see some, billionaire car guy, who's really into cars and stuff like that, go around and scoop up all these dead cars, like the production rights to all these dead cars, and create their own car company.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be really cool to see. It'd be really awesome. All you have to do is look at each brand individually and be like, okay, what was their best-selling car? We're going to remake that. We're going to keep it as traditional as possible, but update things and make things better and comfortable, and blah blah blah. And then you could really, you could experiment with this brand and that brand, and just kind of keep them in their wheelhouse with their one car and kind of jump around.
I mean,
it'd be a lot of fun to see.
It'd be interesting to see, because I mean,
Excuse me.
Especially like the special edition cars that we never got to see anyway.
Right. Right. Oh, it kills me, dude. Special edition cars for Fiat just absolutely kill me. Just absolutely. They
Well, I
made
mean,
a.
you've got special edition Mitsubishis that we never saw. You've got
I don't
special
want to
edition.
talk about it.
You got special edition Nissan that we never saw.
Never saw. Never got anything cool.
You hear
Oh, I
about it.
missed out on so much.
You hear about it 20 years later, and you're like, "Oh my God, I would have bought one of those in a heartbeat." And everyone's like, "Yeah, but you can't
Oh,
buy one." And they haven't made it in 20 years. So, like,
right.
well, how come I'm just hearing about it now? Because you weren't
Resurrected.
supposed to hear about it. You weren't
RMC.
supposed.
That's a good name, Matt. I like that. So Matt, I don't know if you got comments yet or not, Marty, but Matt commented. He said we should call it Resurrected Motor Company.
There you go.
RMC.
I like it.
Boom. Yeah,
I could-
definitely. I'm on it. Yeah, dude. Do you know Fiat made a Ferrari edition 500?
Really?
You know, I would have paid big money for that. You know that, right? Like, I would have bought that. That would have been at the top of my list.
That would be cool to see. Was it badged Ferrari, or was it a Ferrari type 500 badge?
No, so it's the Abarth badge, right? And it's
Okay.
the Abarth. And then on the back, you get this little placard, probably about this big. It says 695 Ferrari. They also did a 695 Maserati because Fiat owns all of those. And that's really there's different wheels. The interior is much nicer. They put some special stickers on it. But the biggest thing is they gave it an extra 50 horsepower. Like, screw you guys. I want that car.
50 horsepower. I mean, hey. But see, here's my question. Why did we not get that? Was it some kind of an engine restriction, or was it some kind of other restriction that we didn't get it? And if it was just the engine restriction, would it be possible for you to buy that engine and put it in yours? I mean, there's so many things there's so many little gray areas that there's got to be
really messed this up.
There's got to be somebody who can figure these things out. I mean, obviously there's companies.
Please, somebody
that
save us from the SUVs.
Well, what I'm saying is there's somebody who there's these companies who import cars now, and they know all the ins and outs and everything that you need to do.
Right.
There's got to be people who know, like, the little loopholes that you can bring stuff in legally, because all of the GTRs from the Fast and Furious, all of the R34s were legally imported. Right. So, I mean, those.
Well, yeah, Matt, they were limited production, sure, but that doesn't mean they couldn't have brought 10 of them. You know, something. Right. Give me something, man. Make it super.
We've got limited production cars. We've got limited production cars here that are sold across the pond.
Right, and we've had like Mitsubishi back in the day made the Galant VR4, which was very limited production. It had even a little numbered badge on each one, and it's an individual number. We got those.
Right. I don't know.
Come at me, bro. Killing me.
Telling you, there's a market for that.
There is. You know what there's a market for? There's a market for people who don't have to go to a dealership, don't have to deal with all these crazy people. They could buy a factory direct car for cheaper, without all the bull crap and the markup and all that stuff, and have it dropped off at their house with the options that they like and they want, without doing all this stupid stuff. This is just frustrating at this point.
If you need to have one of these smaller car companies just try to go against the grain and go, you know what? You guys have been doing this for this long, like this. We're going to try something different. And then just go against the grain and see what happens. And I guarantee you they'll explode. Because of how everyone is like, I can't stand this, but there's no other way for me to do it.
Right.
You know, you can't stand going buying a new car right now because how aggravating and annoying it is. but what else do you have?
Right.
You know, and so now, and if somebody was to come up with your idea and start putting your idea to fruition, I guarantee you more people would take care of it, more people would do it, especially if
Right.
you were able to 100% build it how you want it.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
Do you
Absolutely.
remember? Do you remember Duesenbergs?
I know the name. I know the name
Okay,
Duesenberg. I don't
so
remember them particularly.
Duesenberg was like the American uh, Rolls Royce, basically. And
Okay.
what you would do is you would buy basically the engine and chassis and seats, and then you would take it to a coach builder, and they would put everything else on it. And you could pick, you could pick the body style, you could pick the interior, you could pick how your knobs look. I mean, you could 100% build this car your own. It's crazy because you see like Duesenberg car shows, and not a single one of them is the exact same.
That's awesome. That'd be really
And
awesome to be able
so,
to do.
and yeah, I mean, it's hard to do it nowadays with all the regulations and restrictions, but it'd be so cool to be able to go online and go, you know what? I want that. I want that. Ooh, that's cool. I want that. And then throw all of that into one car, and where no two cars from the same company are the exact same.
Right.
I,
That'd be awesome.
yeah,
That'd be pretty awesome to do.
it would suck
Uh,
for people who like to drive their car for 2 or 3 years and then sell it and get something new, because
right.
not everyone's gonna want that what you just put into it, but it's still gonna be your car.
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Bradley, you're absolutely right. To get all those brands under one name, under one roof, would probably be pretty difficult and expensive. It probably would. Um, Although I guess it would depend because I don't really know how much a car brand name goes for, or the rights to their car branding stuff, especially stuff that's been just killed off, like Saturn and Plymouth and things like that, where it's just like and it's dead and nobody uses it anymore.
I'm correct.
That would be interesting to try and figure out.
If I'm correct, an Indian company, an Indian?
The motorcycle company?
No. Company from a car company from India
Oh, okay.
bought the rights to Jaguar and Land Rover for like $2 billion a couple of years ago.
So incredibly expensive, but in the realm of big business, I suppose
Not
that's
that much.
reasonable. I
Yeah,
suppose that's reasonable,
but I mean,
considering that.
imagine it this way: you spend $2 billion, and you've got Jaguar and Land Rover that you sell for $100,000 a car. You could make that back in a year.
Probably, yeah, probably, and I mean, especially when you consider that Walt Disney spent like $4 or $5 billion on purchasing Star Wars. So, in the realm of big business, it's not that
And
terrible.
you gotta look at it this way: those are storied car companies. Those have been around for a while. Those have a
Right,
history. So if you're
definitely.
looking at something a little bit smaller like Saturn or even Pontiac, like you said, they're dead, so they're not making any money, not making people money right now.
Hmm.
It'd probably be a lot cheaper. A couple $100 million
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. You'd probably be looking. I mean, look, starting up that kind of stuff definitely isn't cheap. It's big
No,
business. It takes a lot. I'm curious though about the way that a lot of these newer companies, like Fiat and some of the other companies, come into the United States. Um, I was always wondering why it is that they try and like we're gonna put a dealership in New York and one over here, or they try and like mass spread themselves immediately instead of saying like, okay, we're gonna sell in this small group of states. Like, let's take 3 states, and we're gonna sell our cars there. You know what I mean? Like
well,
wherever their research would show like their car would probably sell the most, and then go there, and
true. And then
right.
expand as needed. That Yeah, it would make sense. But I mean, you've got these car companies that have billions of dollars of backing behind them, where it's like Fiat. they're already part of, you know, Dodge and Chrysler and all that other stuff. So they can just throw those cars into those dealerships. It's not like they're creating a whole new dealership.
Right. Well, that's the thing is that Fiat didn't do that, which is really weird because there's a Chrysler dealership not too far from me. They don't sell any Fiats. I have to go to what is now the Maserati dealership. It used to be Maserati and Fiat. I have to go to the Maserati dealership to get a Fiat.
Right.
Well, they split off, and now they have a specific. It's I don't know if maybe that's just a bad decision on corporate part there for them, but
Probably.
yeah, probably.
I mean,
those guys are bad at that stuff.
I mean, look at it this way: if you're looking at a Fiat, how much, you know, roughly your 500? What was that thing brand new? Roughly.
Brand new, the one that I have, I think went for like 27.
Okay, and so they're selling them. I know, but they're selling them at a Maserati dealership, where the cheapest car is 100,000. So
I think 80,000.
Okay, well, most people aren't going to be going to a Maserati dealership to look for a cheap car.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to a Ferrari dealership hoping to find a car for $30,000.
Right, and if you get the base models, and you're looking, you know, $15,000 for a base model.
That's like, hey, I'm gonna go buy a Ford GT at the dealership down the road. That's not gonna happen. So people aren't gonna look at a Maserati dealership and go, hey, they've got Fiats there. I could probably pick one of those up. Let's go look at those. I mean, if you had it at a regular Chrysler dealership, or even if you had them at a Dodge dealership, put the Fiat Dodge dealers together. That would make sense than putting them with a Ferrari or with Maserati.
It would. It's very odd. I don't know. People do weird stuff.
Yeah.
But speaking of weird stuff that's going on, you want a little bit more of the news, the upcoming news?
Yeah.
So probably like 3 or 4 videos ago, I was hanging my head in shame because the new Evo is going to be a crossover electric SUV.
Yeah.
So this is a rumor, but I've got some good sources, mainly the internet. Mitsubishi is going to be bringing back an actual like Lancer Evolution sedan based off of Renault's Megane RS.
So it's not going to be an Evo.
It will be, because it'll be a 4-cylinder turbocharged all-wheel drive car. It may end up being the first hatchback Evo ever. So that'll be interesting.
That would be interesting. I wonder how people are going to respond to it, considering everyone wants SUVs.
Well, they said they're going to make an Evolution SUV. That's going to happen. But they're rumoring. It'd be interesting just because, like, we don't get Renault here. Like you said, we don't get Renault here in the United States. And Renault makes this really cool hot hatch. The Megane is a really, really cool hot hatch. And what did I do? What happened?
So Dee was hearing you talk, and she goes, he needs to take that idea and get the fuck out. And I'm like, what? And she goes, an Evo SUV? And they made like a somebody shit under her nose face. Like, I'm like,
that's not my idea. That's Mitsubishi's idea.
I know, but I mean, even she knows that's the dumbest idea ever.
People like SUVs, especially plug-in hybrid ones. I don't make this stuff up, man. It's real life going on. Real life going on.
Oh, but I just thought that was, I don't know.
It probably won't do well, but I'd like to see one just because I'd be interested in seeing a Renault here in the United States, even if you badge it as a Mitsubishi, put the Evolution name on it.
My thing is this: these car companies, like Toyota builds cars for the U.S. that they don't even sell in Japan. Why?
Right.
Because their customers don't like that. So why? So why can't we continue building cars, small little sports cars, and just keep them around? Why is everyone's going? You know what? Everyone wants SUVs. We're just going to build SUVs.
Right.
Are,
And that's
are
the
you
only thing that's going to.
are you going to completely segregate yourself from that side of the world and not sell over in those countries?
Right. Well, it's just crazy to me that like they don't at least at the very like I get okay the SUVs are selling big and we want to make a lot of them. We want to make money, of course. That's the name of the game is making money. You're not out
Right.
here to satisfy my needs, which you should be, but you're not. But I get that. Like, okay, so concentrate on that. But you're still like for instance, Fiat's still making the 500. Why can't I just buy one? Just like you
Right.
don't have to import a billion of them. You don't have to keep them at the factory over here, or whatever you're trying to do with your factories and stuff. But why
Here's
can't
my,
I just still buy a new one? You still make them. Please just
right,
let me
right.
buy
Here's
one.
my thing. What I think would be interesting is say it costs an extra 10 grand to import a car over, right? Why can't you just spend an extra 10 grand to have that imported?
Right. Why can't I just go to the local Fiat dealer and be like, I really just want a 500 a bar. Be like, well,
Right.
we don't sell those in the U.S. anymore. Be like, but yeah, I really want one. Well, you know it's going to cost you a little extra. Okay, that's fine. I really just want one. Like,
Right.
why can't I do that?
Right. Well, I
Who
mean,
who
it's not
who
like
puts
it's
the
not like
rule?
well, I mean, it's not like there's a restriction on the engine or on the emissions and stuff like that to where you can't import it. So
Right.
if you've got them, why can't I buy it? Like say I wanted to go to Toyota and buy a Hilux.
Yeah, they have
I
them.
mean, they sell them 30 miles away from me.
Right.
Why
Why
can't
can't you buy one?
why can't I buy one and have it shipped to the dealership down the street?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And the thing is like this is where like I get into like the environmental crap because like, look, yes, of course I want my car to get better gas mileage. Just let the car companies figure out that if they make cars with better gas mileage, I'm going to buy that car. Like you don't need to restrict. You don't need to make a law because okay, maybe there's going to be some a-hole out there that's like, I just want to, burn car. Okay, there's one guy that's going to do that. The rest of
Right.
us are going to be like, you know what? No, I want to save money on gas. I
Right.
want a V8 that's still good on gas. Like that's still a thing that's going to happen. You don't have to restrict
Well,
it. You don't
it's
have to
like
put these restrictions in place.
it's like the Wranglers. The Wranglers have had a diesel option for a long time.
Yeah, why can't I order the diesel?
Built here in America.
Oh. We can't buy.
But I can't buy it.
It's
It's like
infuriating. It's
my
just
neighbor is
infuriating.
building this truck, but I cannot buy it, and it's going to get shipped all the way across the ocean to
Right.
Europe. But why?
It's just one of
You know,
those things. It's just infuriating because it's like they're trying to go after the mass market, and I get that, but
but
us
here's my
niche guys still exist. We still have money.
but here's my thing is if you're trying to sell it to everybody you can, right? Why are you
Right.
going to restrict? Why are you going to restrict an entire country from not buying it?
I don't know. It just sounds so stupid when you say it out loud. I really don't know.
Okay, there's 300 million people in this country that we could possibly sell our car to. Okay, let's not sell it there.
Yeah, they don't even like those ones.
Yeah, they don't like those.
Yeah,
There's a
nobody.
very small percentage of people who like those cars in that country.
Right.
Okay, so build them, and if somebody in that country orders it, charge them a little extra and ship it to them.
It doesn't seem that complicated. It really doesn't.
I don't know. There needs to be. I think people need to go over I think we need to go and rehash these restrictions and stuff like that because some of
I
them
really do.
don't make sense anymore.
They don't make sense.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing is we're not allowed to have these diesel engines here,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're the exact same diesel engines that Europe has been using for years.
Right.
So how come they get to drive it, but I don't?
I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Are my trees more precious than their trees?
I
mean,
I don't know. Well, the thing that bothers me the most about it is that when you've got cars that are very, very good on gas mileage, like their gas mileage is phenomenal, it's through the roof, but we can't get them here because they're somehow bad for the environment or something. I don't understand. I feel like the people in charge of making these rules knew nothing about cars and were just like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to sign that.
Yeah.
Oh, and now we're stuck with it.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I really wish things were a little bit more chill in the spectrum, so that way we could actually get to the important stuff, like why I can't just buy an R34 because I feel like it.
Right.
Screw you guys! It's my money. I want to buy this car. Just let me do it. What?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
And
Doesn't make any sense.
Like you said, our 30 Skylines over in Japan are basically their Mustang. They're everywhere.
Right.
But we can't have them over here because restrictions?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why? If we've got restrictions, why don't they have the same restrictions? I mean, wouldn't that make sense?
I don't know. I just got an alert, Marty, that you are currently watching this video. I'm super happy about that.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Appreciate it.
Hey, you should make sure you hit the thumbs up and share button, okay there, bud?
I can't
Don't
even
do it now. Don't do it now. No, you're gonna ruin the video now.
My phone's not even working. Like I can't even do anything.
Oh, I know. Oh, we definitely had a rough start. That's definitely the roughest start we've had.
Yeah.
But yeah, for all you guys out there, let us know what you think about these silly car restrictions, what kind of car brands you'd like to bring back, and all that kind of good stuff.
Definitely.
Marty, got anything else you want to bring up, talk about?
No.
We're right around about an hour. Well, about an hour, but we did have technical difficulties.
Yeah. I guess we'll cut this one a little bit shorter than normal.
Well, I don't know if it's shorter because technically we spent a whole lot of time trying to make this video for you guys, so maybe it's slightly longer.
Who knows? The time frame is about the same, but the video itself is shorter.
Right. Unless we add in all the other videos. The one where you couldn't talk, the one that got shut down, all of that stuff. It's fun.
The one where I couldn't join into yours.
Yeah, I don't know. Things are going crazy. The whole world's in mess.
Keep an eye out on YouTube. We're going to be filming some new stuff. If you want to share off your projects and stuff like that, we've been doing some cool stuff on the Instagram. Every Friday, I try to find one of our military veterans or even active duty and do a little bit of a shout out for them. So check that stuff out. Check out Rob's Instagram, and share this out with your friends. If you enjoy the stuff that we're doing, I'm sure your friends are going to enjoy it too. So
absolutely. I'm going to be doing a video very shortly here, explaining how to convert your 1GB DSM to a 1GA DSM. That means pop-up headlights. Because mine works. Mine works and it's awesome.
I know. I saw the video. That looks awesome.
And I can't wait for you to come down here, Marty, because me and you, we're going for a cruise.
Oh, by the way, everybody, if you guys don't know, I will be back home in October.
Yeah, we should do like a little meet and greet or something. I feel like we should.
Definitely.
We'll do something special. We're gonna do something special in October. It's coming up. Tell your friends.
It's gonna have to be that Sunday that I get there because I leave the next Saturday, and I've got stuff going on Thursday and Friday.
We'll figure it out. We'll get stuff going. There'll be something going on. There'll be something going on. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun. But we're taking the DSM for a cruise when you get here.
You guys are in the Joliet-ish area in Illinois.
Chicago. Chicagoland, man. The whole land.
I'm just trying to figure out where-ish we should put it.
Yeah, Joliet-ish. That's fine.
Yeah, we can find
Bolingbrookeish, that type of area, or it's probably somewhere
anywhere.
around there.
We'll as we get closer to time, we'll figure this out. We'll put up a couple posts, figure out people. But if everyone wants to jump out there, bring their stuff out there, hang out for a little bit, who knows? We'll have a good time.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, guys. Until next week, Marty, take it easy, bud.
Peace.
Deuces.